There's no crowd watching you right now. No flashing lights. No audience cheering your name. No one holding up signs that say, "Keep going. You're doing amazing." The room is quiet. The world seems asleep. And all you can hear is your own breath, your own footsteps, your own doubts whispering inside your mind. And yet, you keep moving. Because deep down, something inside you knows the truth. Greatness doesn't happen under the spotlight. It's built in the shadows. Think about it. Every champion, every leader, every legend you admire, they weren't made on the big stage. They were made in the silence, in the hours when no one cared, in the moments when they felt invisible, ignored, and underestimated. Success is never glamorous at the beginning. It's ugly. It's painful. It's lonely. And most of all, it's quiet. I want you to imagine something. Picture yourself walking into an empty gym at 5 a.m. The air is cold, the weights are untouched, and the only sound is the faint hum of the fluorescent lights above. There's no coach pushing you, no teammates clapping for you, just you, your sweat, and the iron waiting to test you. Most people wouldn't show up. Most people would roll over in bed, hit snooze, and wait for tomorrow. But not you. You're there. And that single choice, showing up when no one else does, that's where relentless progress begins. The world doesn't reward the effort it doesn't see. But progress doesn't need applause. Progress needs consistency. Let me tell you the story of David. He was a scrawny 16-year-old who wanted nothing more than to play on his high school varsity basketball team. The problem? He wasn't strong enough, wasn't fast enough, and honestly, wasn't even noticed by the coach. His classmates laughed when he said he wanted to make the team. They told him he was too small, too weak, too invisible. And for a while, he believed them. But one night, lying awake in bed, he made a decision. If no one believed in me, I'd believe in myself. If no one clapped for me, I'd clap for myself. So while everyone else went to parties or stayed glued to their phones, David spent his nights shooting hoops under a flickering streetlight. He ran sprints in the freezing cold until his lungs burned. He did push-ups in his bedroom while the rest of his family slept. No applause, no spotlight, just relentless progress. Months later, when tryouts came, David didn't just make the team. He shocked everyone by being one of the best-conditioned players on the court. People said, "Wow, where did he come from? He must be a natural." But David wasn't a natural. He was a grinder. His success wasn't magic. It was forged in silence. And here's the lesson. Most people crave applause so much that they give up when it doesn't come. They mistake silence for failure. They think, if no one sees me, then what I'm doing doesn't matter. But listen carefully. Silence is not failure. Silence is the forge. Silence is where the iron is sharpened. Silence is where resilience is born. Think about a seed. You put it in the soil, and for weeks, sometimes months, nothing seems to happen. It looks dead, invisible, pointless. But underground, life is taking root. Growth is happening, unseen and unstoppable. And then one day, it breaks through the soil for the world to see. That's exactly how relentless progress works. It's slow, it's quiet, it's invisible, and then one day, it explodes into undeniable results. Let's be real, the journey is not glamorous. It's lonely. There will be days when your friends are out having fun while you're grinding in silence. There will be nights when you're sitting at a desk, working on your dream while your family questions if it's worth it. You'll sacrifice sleep, comfort, and sometimes even relationships. And the hardest part? Nobody will clap for you. Nobody will thank you. Nobody will recognize the grind. But here's the power. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. If you only move when people are watching, you'll never move far. The true test of character is what you do when no one is looking. Now let's talk about you. What are you building right now? Maybe it's a business, a body, a skill, or a dream. Whatever it is, you're probably not getting much applause. People don't understand. They don't see the late nights, the early mornings, the doubts, the tears. But one day they will. One day, they'll look at you and say, "You're so lucky. You're so talented. You're so gifted." And you'll smile, because you'll know the truth. Luck didn't build this. Silence did. This is why discipline is more powerful than motivation. Motivation is loud. It shouts in your ear, "You can do it." But then it fades. Discipline? Discipline is quiet. Discipline is the voice that whispers, "Get up. Keep going. One more rep, one more hour." Discipline is what carries you when motivation disappears. So here's the first challenge I'll give you. Embrace the silence. Stop craving applause. Stop waiting for validation. Your progress is real, even if no one sees it. Every page you write, every pound you lift, every dollar you save, every skill you practice, every single effort counts, whether the world notices or not. Because progress isn't about being seen. Progress is about being relentless. And if you can learn to love the grind in the dark, the day will come when your work shines so bright that the world can't ignore you. Do it in silence. Let your success make the noise. The truth about chasing your dream is this: the hardest battle is not with the world, it's with yourself. It's with the voice in your head that whispers, "Why am I even doing this if nobody notices?" We've been conditioned to crave recognition. From the time we were kids, we wanted gold stars, pats on the back, and words of encouragement. And sure, those feel good. But when you grow up and step into the real world, those rewards disappear. There's no teacher giving you an A+ for waking up early. There's no crowd cheering because you stayed late to practice. The applause vanishes, and for many people, so does the drive. But champions? Champions keep going anyway. Let me tell you about Sarah. She was a young woman working at a corporate job that drained her spirit. Every day she dreamed of starting her own business, something that gave her purpose. But she didn't have investors, connections, or even much support from her family. They told her, "Be realistic. Stick with your safe job. Don't waste your time." Yet every night, after finishing her 9 to 5, Sarah would sit at her kitchen table with nothing but her laptop and her determination. She studied, she built, she designed. Some nights she stayed up until 3 a.m., then woke up at 6 a.m. to do it all over again. There was no applause, no spotlight, no recognition, just endless hours of silent sacrifice. Her friends didn't understand why she skipped parties. Her family didn't see the vision. And sometimes, even she questioned herself. But here's the secret. She kept moving. Quietly. Relentlessly. 2 years later, Sarah's side hustle became her full-time business. She handed in her resignation and walked away from the job that once trapped her. People around her were stunned. They said things like, "You're so lucky. You're so brave. How did you do it?" But Sarah wasn't lucky. She wasn't overnight successful. She was relentless. And while the world slept, she was building. Here's the reality. Nobody claps for preparation. Nobody celebrates the nights you grind, the mornings you sacrifice, the weekends you spend working while others are relaxing. The world only claps when the results are undeniable. That's why so many people give up. They want instant validation. They want the applause before the progress. But life doesn't work that way. The applause comes when you no longer need it. Think about that. When you've built yourself strong enough to keep moving without recognition, that's when you're ready to receive recognition. Because if you're still dependent on applause to keep going, you're not strong enough yet. This is where discipline comes in. Motivation is emotional. It burns hot, but it burns out fast. Discipline is steady. Discipline is the quiet, unglamorous habit of showing up no matter what. Imagine a runner training for a marathon. The race is months away, but today she's out there running in the rain. Her shoes are soaked, her muscles ache, and no one is watching. There's no medal waiting at the end of this practice run. And yet, she runs anyway. That's discipline. Discipline doesn't care about applause. Discipline only cares about progress. And that's what relentless progress requires. Choosing discipline over comfort, over doubt, over distraction. But here's the struggle: loneliness. When you chase your dream in silence, you often feel like you're the only one sacrificing. Your friends post pictures of vacations, parties, and fun while you're stuck in your grind. Your family asks why you're always working. Sometimes you look at yourself in the mirror and wonder if it's even worth it. But listen, loneliness is the price of transformation. The cocoon is lonely before the butterfly breaks free. The soil is dark before the seed becomes a tree. The silence is heavy before the applause arrives. You cannot skip this stage. You cannot avoid it. You have to walk through the silence and trust that progress is happening, even if you can't see it, even if no one else sees it. What you do in the dark determines what you can do in the light. Now let me paint you a picture. Imagine two people running on treadmills side by side. The first one runs fast for 10 minutes, sweating hard, looking around to see who's watching. After a while, he slows down, bored, frustrated, because nobody seems impressed. The second runner keeps her head down. She doesn't care who's watching. She runs at a steady pace, day after day, week after week. Nobody claps. Nobody notices. But months later, when it's time to run a real marathon, she dominates, because her relentless progress has built an engine inside her. That's the difference between people who quit and people who win. The quitters crave the spotlight. The winners crave progress. And maybe right now, you're in that phase. You're building something no one sees. You're practicing, training, working, and wondering if it will ever pay off. It will, because progress is like compound interest. Every tiny effort you put in, the book you read, the push-up you do, the dollar you save, it stacks, it multiplies, it grows. And while it may feel invisible right now, one day you'll wake up and realize you've built something unshakable. But that will only happen if you don't quit in the silence. So here's my second challenge for you. Detach your worth from recognition. Stop waiting for people to notice. Stop checking if anyone clapped. Stop wondering if the world approves. Because the truth is, nobody's opinion matters more than your discipline. Work in silence. Build in silence. Grow in silence. Because when you finally step into the spotlight, you won't need validation. You'll already know your value. Relentless progress is invisible until it becomes undeniable. Here's the truth nobody likes to admit. Progress isn't a straight line. It's not always up and to the right like some neat little graph. No, progress is messy. It's full of setbacks, plateaus, and moments where you feel like you're moving backwards instead of forwards. And the hardest part about this? When you're in that quiet grind and you stumble, no one's there to pick you up. There's no crowd shouting, "You got this." There's no fan cheering, "Keep going." It's just you, your pain, and your decision. Most people break here. They think silence is hard, but silence with failure? That feels unbearable. But listen to me carefully. Failure in private is not punishment, it's training. Think about every great athlete, every great creator, every great entrepreneur. Behind every moment of glory, there are hundreds of invisible failures. Michael Jordan said it best. "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times, I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed." We see the championships, the rings, the highlight reels. But what we don't see are the empty gyms, the late nights, the tears, the thousands of misses. His greatness wasn't built in front of a roaring crowd. It was built in silence, through relentless progress, through failures no one clapped for. Now let me give you a story. There was a young writer named James. He dreamed of publishing a novel, but every time he sent his manuscript to a publisher, it was rejected. Over and over. 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. Some publishers didn't even respond. He felt invisible, worthless, like he was screaming into a void. One night, James almost quit. He sat at his desk, staring at yet another rejection letter, and thought, "Why am I even doing this? No one cares. Nobody's ever going to read my work." But then he reminded himself, he wasn't writing for applause. He was writing for progress. He was writing to sharpen his craft. He was writing because the act of writing made him stronger. So he kept going, quietly, relentlessly. And after years of silence and rejection, one publisher finally said yes. That book went on to sell millions of copies. The world called him a genius. They called him an overnight success. But James smiled because he knew the truth. His success wasn't overnight. It was forged in years of invisible progress and private failure. And that's what I want you to understand. Every failure you go through in silence is a stepping stone. Every time you stumble when nobody's watching, you're learning, you're growing, you're sharpening. But only if you choose to keep going. Most people let failure define them. Champions let failure refine them. Let me ask you this. What if the thing you're struggling with right now, the setback, the rejection, the loss, what if that's not a wall, but a weight? Think about it. When you go to the gym and you pick up a heavy weight, your muscles resist. They shake. They burn. But over time, that resistance makes you stronger. Failure is the same. The setback you're facing right now, it's resistance training for your soul. It's building grit, resilience, and determination that will carry you further than applause ever could. Failure is not the opposite of progress. It's the engine of progress. Let's look at another example. Thomas Edison. Most people know him as the inventor of the light bulb. But what they forget is that Edison failed over 1,000 times before he finally made it work. People mocked him. They told him he was wasting his life. But Edison didn't see failure the way others did. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." That's relentless progress. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about using failure. And that's exactly what you need to do. Now let's bring it closer to home. Maybe right now you've been grinding at the gym but don't see results. Maybe you've been working on your side hustle but the money isn't coming in yet. Maybe you've been putting your heart into a dream but the world feels silent. Here's the thing. Silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. Just like a seed underground, growth often happens where you can't see it. Progress is like roots, spreading, strengthening, preparing for the moment you finally break through. But only if you keep watering it. Only if you keep showing up, even when the soil looks dead. Think about a musician practicing scales in a dark room. Nobody claps for those hours. Nobody sees the sore fingers, the frustration, the missed notes. But when the concert comes and the spotlight shines, people see brilliance. They see talent. They say, "Wow, you're gifted." But the truth? That gift was built in silence. And it's the same for you. Here's what relentless progress really means. It means showing up when you don't feel like it. It means trying again after failure. It means choosing consistency over applause. It means building strength in the shadows so you can shine in the light. It's about understanding that setbacks aren't signs to quit. They're signs you're in the middle of becoming unstoppable. So here's my third challenge for you. Redefine failure. Stop seeing failure as the end. See it as the evidence of progress. Every mistake proves you're trying. Every stumble proves you're moving. Every rejection proves you're still in the fight. Because relentless progress isn't about never falling. It's about never staying down. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. That's how legends are made. Not in the applause, not in the spotlight, but in the silence of failure, where they choose to rise again and again. Imagine this. You're holding a single brick in your hand. It looks small, almost meaningless. But every day, you place one more brick down. At first, nobody notices. At first, it looks like nothing. But keep going, day after day, month after month, year after year. And suddenly, you've built a wall so strong that nothing can knock it down. That's what relentless progress is. It's not dramatic. It's not flashy. It's not built on applause. It's built brick by brick, choice by choice, in silence. Most people don't like this idea. They want the wall now. They want success today. They want applause before effort. But greatness doesn't work that way. Greatness is built slowly, quietly, relentlessly. Let's take a look at Thomas Edison again. People celebrate him as a genius. But what they forget is that his genius was in his relentlessness. Over 1,000 failed attempts at creating the light bulb. 1,000 bricks laid down that looked like nothing. People laughed. They mocked. They said he was wasting his life. But Edison didn't stop. And eventually, the world lit up because of him. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Thomas Edison, his brilliance wasn't in having an idea. It was in never giving up on it, no matter how silent or lonely the journey became. And then there's the story of Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC. Most people don't know that he was rejected over 1,000 times when he pitched his fried chicken recipe to restaurants. Imagine that, 1,000 rejections. At any point, he could have quit. At any point, he could have said, "Nobody cares. Nobody's clapping. Nobody believes in me." But he kept going, quietly, relentlessly. And when finally one person said yes, the rest became history. Today, KFC is a global empire. And all of it started with one man who refused to let the silence stop him. That's the power of brick-by-brick progress. Let me ask you this. What brick are you laying today? Maybe it's reading a chapter of a book. Maybe it's going for a run. Maybe it's practicing your craft. Maybe it's saving a single dollar. It might look small. It might look invisible. But stacked over time, those bricks become a fortress. And that fortress is what will protect your future. Here's the problem with our generation. We live in a world of instant gratification. We post a picture and want likes in seconds. We start a new habit and expect results in days. We want applause before we've built anything. But relentless progress is the opposite of instant gratification. It's delayed gratification. It's having the courage to sacrifice now for a reward later. And let me be real with you. That delay hurts. It feels endless. It feels unfair. It feels like no one notices. But that delay, that's what makes you different from everyone else. Because while they quit in the silence, you're still moving. While they give up, you're still building. And when the results finally come, the difference between you and them will be undeniable. Let me give you another story. There was a boxer named Rocky Marciano. He wasn't the most talented fighter. He wasn't the fastest or the strongest or the most technically skilled. But what he had was relentlessness. He trained harder than anyone. He fought through pain longer than anyone. He built his strength brick by brick, day after day. By the end of his career, Rocky Marciano retired as the only heavyweight champion in history to go undefeated. 49 wins, 0 losses. The world celebrated him as a legend. But the legend wasn't built in the spotlight. It was built in the gym, in the silence, in the moments when nobody was clapping. This is what you need to understand. The spotlight is temporary, but the work is permanent. The spotlight will come and go. Applause fades. Recognition disappears. But the progress you make in silence, that's yours forever. Spotlights can blind. Applause can distract. But silence sharpens. Don't chase the spotlight. Become so good that the spotlight chases you. And when that day comes, when your work is undeniable, the spotlight will find you. But here's the secret. You won't even need it anymore. Because by then, you'll already know who you are. You'll already know what you've built. You'll already know your value. The spotlight will just be a bonus. So let me speak directly to you right now. Maybe you're in a quiet season. Maybe you're working late nights while nobody sees. Maybe you're grinding in the gym with no results yet. Maybe you're saving money while your friends are spending it all. Maybe you're learning skills nobody cares about. It feels invisible. It feels unappreciated. It feels heavy. But hear me. This silence is not your enemy. This silence is your advantage. Because while everyone else is distracted by applause, you're building something unshakable. The ones who need applause to move, they stop when it disappears. But you're unstoppable. Because you don't need the spotlight to validate you. You don't need applause to motivate you. You've learned the secret that most people never will. Progress itself is the reward. So here's my fourth challenge for you. Lay one more brick today. Don't think about the wall. Don't think about the applause. Just think about the brick in front of you. Place it. Do the work. Take the step. And then do it again tomorrow. And again the next day. Because one day, you'll look up, and the wall you've built will be so massive, so unshakable, that the world won't be able to ignore it. And by then, you won't need their applause anyway. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes for just a moment. Picture where you are right now. Picture your life, your struggles, your daily grind. Now, picture where you want to be. That future version of you. The stronger, wiser, more powerful version. It isn't built in front of cameras. It isn't built under bright lights. It isn't built by applause. It's built right here, in this moment, in the silence. You may not feel it yet. You may not see it yet. But every step you take in the dark is carrying you toward that future. Every rep in the gym. Every late night hour of studying. Every morning you wake up early. Every single brick you lay. It matters. Even if nobody notices. Here's what I want you to understand. The applause will come later. The spotlight will come later. But right now, the most important thing you can do is embrace relentless progress. Progress that doesn't stop for anyone. Progress that doesn't need validation. Progress that grows stronger in silence. One day, they'll call you an overnight success, but you'll know it was years of invisible progress. That's the truth people will never see. They'll see the end result. They'll see the glory. They'll see the success, but they won't see the pain, the nights you cried, the mornings you dragged yourself out of bed, the times you failed alone. And that's okay, because this journey isn't about them. It's about you. Think about the people we admire most in history. The innovators, the athletes, the leaders. Their breakthroughs didn't happen when people were watching. They happened when no one was. Steve Jobs tinkered in his garage before he changed technology forever. Serena Williams practiced on empty courts before she became a champion. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote speeches in solitude before millions chanted his words. They all had moments where the world was silent, where no one applauded, where no one believed. But they kept moving, quietly, relentlessly, and eventually, the world could no longer ignore them. Now let's talk about you. Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you feel unseen. Maybe you feel like you've been grinding for years and nothing is happening. I know that feeling. It's heavy. It's discouraging. It makes you want to quit. But here's the truth. Progress is not always visible. Sometimes it's underground. Sometimes it's invisible. Sometimes it feels like nothing is moving, but it is. Every time you resist quitting, you're getting stronger. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're building resilience. Every time you get back up after failure, you're sharpening your character. This is relentless progress. And relentless progress never betrays you. It always seems impossible until it's done. Nelson Mandela, think about those words. Right now, your dream may feel impossible, but it's not. It's simply unfinished. And if you keep moving, brick by brick, step by step, the impossible will eventually become inevitable. Here's another story for you. There was a man named Sylvester Stallone. Before he became famous, he was broke, rejected, and laughed at. He tried to sell his screenplay for Rocky dozens of times, but every studio turned him down. Some told him he'd never make it. Others offered him money but wanted someone else to star in the movie. He refused. He believed in himself when nobody else did. He lived in poverty, sold his dog just to buy food, and still kept writing, still kept pushing. Finally, one studio gave him a chance. He starred in Rocky. The movie became a global hit, won Academy Awards, and turned him into a legend. People called him lucky. They applauded. They gave him the spotlight. But the real story? The real story was written in silence. In poverty. In rejection. In relentless progress that nobody saw. And that's the same story you're writing right now. One day, people will see you succeed, and they'll think it happened fast. They'll think it happened easily. They'll think you're special, different, gifted. But you'll know the truth. It wasn't easy. It wasn't fast. It wasn't luck. It was built in silence, through sacrifice, through discipline, through relentless progress. So here's my final challenge for you. Commit to the unseen work. Commit to showing up when nobody claps. Commit to pushing forward when nobody believes. Commit to laying down bricks even when the wall looks invisible. Because one day, the world will see what you've built. One day, the applause will come. One day, the spotlight will shine. But by then, you won't even need it. Because you'll know, you already became who you were meant to be. So take a breath, stand tall, and repeat this to yourself. I will keep going. I will keep building. I will keep progressing relentlessly, with or without applause, with or without the spotlight. My time will come, because my progress is real, even if no one sees it yet. That is the promise of relentless progress. And that is how legends are made.